What is your name? I will write my neighbor's name. Because the question would be so tricky. At first glance or a first glimpse, you wouldn't understand. You always mistake it to some other question. Read multiple times, it's a pure reading skill. Correct? Think about the question from all the different angles and then brainstorm and then decide which is the best idea, which is wrong idea, which is the average idea. Then choose the best idea. This way, when you do, you will definitely stick to the question. If you don't do all this mathematics and directly start writing, look at the question, I got an answer, start writing, mostly it would be wrong. As a result, your scores will be stuck at 5.5 or 6. Remember this. Welcome to the ultimate guide to IELTS last minute strategies. My exam is tomorrow. What all things that I should keep in my mind? Well, if you're wondering, then trust me, this video will guide you in the right direction with respect to all the things that you need to keep in your mind if you have the exam the next day. Before we get into the video, if you're not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button, and anytime you need online assistance, it's a paid assistance, you can check the information in the description of this video. We left a WhatsApp link, you can click on the link, send us a message. I'll be there, we will be there to help you get in the right direction. Alright, without further delay, let's straight away get right into the last minute strategies. Here we go. First, we will understand all the last minute strategies with respect to the listening section. In the listening section, first thing first, remember to read the questions in advance. They're going to give you some time in advance before the audio begins. Use the time to read the questions, read the options. The actual content, once the audio starts, will not immediately be told. The actual content will take at least some 10 to 15 or 20 seconds because in the beginning they'll be talking about some intro. Check it off. For the first 10 seconds of the audio or 15 seconds of the audio, you can still continue reading the options and the questions. Remember to do this, and when you read consciously. This is reading skill. Entire listening is centered at this reading skill activity. If your reading skills are really good, meaning you already know what is the question, what are the options, what could be the potential answer, everything you would know even before the actual content of the audio starts. If you're not aware of this, check my listening videos. You would clearly understand how to do this. But in a nutshell, it's very simple. Before the audio begins, or even after the audio begins, until for 10-15 seconds, you can still continue reading the questions and the options for your fill in the blanks, MCQs, maps, and every section in your listening module. The second last minute strategy for your listening section is to be aware of the traps, especially in fill in the blanks and in MCQs. The speaker would intentionally tell you a wrong word so that you would listen to it and select, and after you select, probably after 3-4 seconds, the speaker would correct it saying, no, that was not, this is it, something of this, they're gonna change, so be aware of the traps. Whatever you listen, don't blindly shoot at the options, wait for it patiently, listen to it completely, make an informed decision. Remember this. The third last minute tip for your listening is to write down the answers while you listen, especially if you're taking computer-based exam. You're going to do it in parallel because you will not have a lot of time left in the end. If you're writing a paper-based, then yes, you can write down in a piece of paper that is given to you and then transfer your answers. You will have some additional time. But for computer-based, additional time will not be given. So you got to practice while listening, typing. Type while listen, meaning you have to listen and type at the same time. Two skills. Typing, meaning writing, and listening at the same time. So practice this on an everyday basis. The fourth last minute tip for your listening section is with respect to maps. Remember to use your fingers to glide along the direction. It's very, very important you make use of your fingers to glide along the direction. When they say south, when they say north, northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, east, west. So this kind of hand gestures will actually give you more clarity, and quickly you would know if you're reaching the destination there or not, what is the correct answer and a lot many things. So make sure you use your finger to glide. This would be a bonus strategy. Don't forget this. Let's talk about the reading section. The first last minute strategy for a reading section is about match heading. Remember, match heading is so difficult for a lot of students, but what if I tell you match heading is all about having that summary of the entire paragraph, the heading of the entire paragraph. The heading will usually be hidden in the first 2 lines or the last 2 lines. First 2 would be the intro, last 2 would be the conclusion. Usually the middle is where they add the data, like hero will come, falls in love with heroine. But what happens at the first 2 and the last 2 usually remain the summary of the entire passage, usually 99% of the times. So for your match heading, focus more on the first 2 lines and last 2 lines. After this, if you're not still getting the answer, then you may have to read the rest of the passages. But if you get the answer quickly, if you're convinced with one of the heading which you have derived by reading the first 2 lines or the last 2 lines, then go with it. Mostly it will be correct. The second last minute strategy for your reading is to get used to this techniques called skimming and scanning. Skimming is just move your eyeballs to just get the gist of the paragraph. You get the gist of the paragraph and then you are scanning it, meaning you have a particular word at the back of your mind. This particular word, you keep it at the back of your mind and keep skimming. You don't read word by word, you just skim for this particular word, meaning you are scanning that word using the technique of skimming. Skimming happens very fast. When you skim and then scan for this particular word, you catch this word quickly. Well, this is what is required for your true, false, not given, fill in the blanks, MCQs. To understand where exactly the actual answer is hidden, it's a very lengthy paragraph. Where is this answer hidden? Oh, this is the keyword. I should go with this keyword, meaning you scan with this particular keyword using the technique skimming. You skim fast, but scanning this word. When you find this word, that's where the skimming and scanning is successful. Now you know this is where the actual content lies. Now you start reading it. Skimming and scanning is a very useful technique. Probably you can check more about this in the YouTube or in the Google. Understand this technique. Start using skimming and scanning. They prove to be very beneficial. The third last minute strategy for your reading is simple. Don't get stuck for a very long time on a particular question. You can always leave it aside, continue and come back later. Remember this, once you're stuck for a very long time, at least 2-3 minutes on a particular question and you're not getting the answer, there's no point in continuously trying so hard for it. It will not come. At that point of time, it will not come. Your mind is not working. Perhaps that's one of the reasons. Or you're not able to think out of the box. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why you're not convinced with the answer that your mind is throwing you. So at that time, what do? You just check it and tell it, boss, I'm going to come back in just a while. Stay there and continue the rest of it. Later you can come back. Trust me, most probably you do it at a later point of time. Don't deal with it then and there itself if it is not working for you. Remember this, the fourth last minute strategy for your reading is to focus on the keywords, especially for your true, false, not given, fill in the blanks, match heading, information matching. The keywords play a very important role, definitely yes, but how do you find the keywords? Remember, keywords will be disguised in another form. Disguise means it will be wearing a different dress, meaning a synonym of the keyword will be written there. If you try to find just the keyword, you may not find the exact word. But if you try to find the synonym of it, you will find the exact word. Meaning, on the right hand side, you have a question and there is a word, book. If you try to find B-O-O-K on the left hand side, big paragraph, you may not find it. On the other hand, if you store the picture of this keyword, the right hand side question, book, B-O-O-K, that word picture is stored here. On the left hand side, when you're reading, let's say you came across the word library, that also you visualized and got a picture. Here also book picture, here also book picture, they both are same. So it's not just about exact keyword literal matching, it's the meaning of the keyword matching, meaning you have to visualize. When you find the keywords, you have to visualize the keywords, then only there would be a perfect match. If you don't visualize, you keep on trying to find the exact word, you may not find. As a result, you go crazy, your mind gets really frustrated because you're putting every effort, but everything is going in vain. The word would be there itself, but in disguise. It would be in a different form. It would be in a synonym. So visualize things. Even for a synonym, the visualization will give you the same picture. Book and library will almost have the same picture when you visualize. So use this visualization technique to find the keywords whenever there are synonyms located and not just the exact word. Remember this. So let's talk about the last minute strategy for your writing. The number one strategy for your writing is to plan before you write. Spend a few minutes on outlining what the question is all about. This is going to be the main idea for the second paragraph. This is going to be the main idea for the third paragraph. I think that's fitting in. Oh, I think this could be wrong. Let me again go back to the question and think about the right ideas and the wrong ideas. I think now I got the right idea. Oh no, I think it's still wrong. Let me again check. Oh, I think now I've got the right idea. Is it really the right idea? I think yes, now I have gotten the right idea because I've checked it multiple times. Oh, this is going to be the right idea for the third paragraph. Second paragraph, idea is done. Third paragraph, idea is done. Now, plan for the supporting idea and example for second paragraph. Plan for the supporting idea and example for the third paragraph. Once you're convinced with all this, then only take your pen or then only start typing. Until then, don't do. Even if you do, you will get stuck. And when you're writing, when you get stuck, trust me, it's going to consume a lot of time. You will be frustrated. Whatever the things that you want will not automatically happen. Your mind stops working, leads to disastrous results. Remember to plan before you start writing. At least 2 minutes you can just devote to this. Definitely comes handy in your exam. The second last minute strategy for your writing is to stick to the question. Most of the people would end up writing their neighbor's name when the question is asking them to write their name. What is your name? I will write my neighbor's name. Because the question would be so tricky, at first glance or a first glimpse, you wouldn't understand. You always mistake it to some other question. Read multiple times, it's a pure reading skill. Correct? Think about the question from all the different angles and then brainstorm and then decide which is the best idea, which is wrong idea, which is the average idea. Then choose the best idea. This way when you do, you will definitely stick to the question. If you don't do all this mathematics and directly start writing, look at the question, I got an answer, start writing, mostly it would be wrong. As a result, your scores will be stuck at 5.5 or 6. Remember this. The third last minute strategy for your writing is to check for common errors. When you type, most probably people would make spelling errors. Punctuation would be wrong. Subject verb agreement, he eats, they eat. A lot of errors will happen when you write. So you need to give at least 1 to 2 minutes in the end to proofread whatever you have written. You will be able to give time to this only when this particular time is in your plan of action. 40 minutes is what I will dedicate to writing essay. In that first 2 minutes is what I'm going to think a lot, plan for it. And then I'll start writing. Before the end of 36th or 37th or 38th minute, I'm going to finish the essay. The remaining 2 minutes I'll dedicate to proofreading. This way when you plan it, it will happen. When you don't plan, automatically 40 minutes is over, then you start typing for letter writing or the task one, and in the end you would have made a lot of mistakes. You would have made spelling errors, grammatical errors, punctuation errors and whatnot. So all this will lead to disastrous results. So make sure you plan your time as well with respect to essay writing. It's very instrumental. The fourth last minute strategy for your essay writing is to have a structure for body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Remember to have a main idea in one sentence. It should be a simple sentence. Then supporting idea, write in 2 sentences. Compound, complex or simple you can mix. And then example in 3 sentences with a mixture of simple, compound, complex. Meaning it's main idea, supporting idea, example. 6 sentences is what I'm asking you to write in your second paragraph and the third paragraph. Use this structure. Your coherence, cohesion marks will always be above 7. If you don't use a structure, most likely you will fall behind. Your marks would be stuck in 6.5. Remember this. Now let's understand the last minute strategy for your speaking module. The number 1 is to remember to expand your answers. For whatever the question asked, it is not a yes or no kind of question. Whatever you answer, you got to expand it, you got to paraphrase it. We call it as paraphrasing. For example, if the question is, do you have a sweet tooth? Yes, I have sweet tooth, I like sweets. Continue talking. Continue talking. When I was young, I was not liking sweets. I'm not sure why, but probably after after I turned 13 or 14, I started loving sweets so much that I had to put on probably 10-15 kgs extra. Now I've reduced it. Doctor has even advised me to reduce the intake of sweets for my own well-being. Something of this you gotta explain, you gotta talk, you gotta express. Expand your answers. This can happen only when you practice with this thought for whatever the question asked. I'll talk about main idea, some supporting idea, some instances, some examples. This way when you go with the structure, things will automatically happen. The second last minute technique for your IELTS speaking is to practice the common topics. Remember, be prepared to discuss familiar topics like hobbies, education or your hometown. All this will definitely come handy. The third last minute technique is to stay confident. Remember, at the end of the day, confidence is the key. Maintain the eye-level contact. See the examiner as your dear friend. Correct? Wish for an engaging conversation. It should not be like, I just want to end this exam as early as possible. No, It's like, see, it's a great learning for you as well. At the end of the day, it's not just about your scores. You're getting an opportunity to talk to someone who is, very well educated, who is at the top of their position. They are in a prestigious institution and they are examining you. So it's an opportunity for you to exchange and have a very good conversation. Smile in between. See the examiner as your dear friend. So as a result, your nervousness, all the worries, anxiety will just vanish. You only look for a quality time, quality conversation to spend with the examiner. The fourth last minute tip for your IELTS speaking is to remember this particular concept. Content is not a priority. Content is not given in the IDP score guide as far as speaking is concerned. Fluency is there, coherence is there, pronunciation is there, grammar is there, vocabulary is there. Where is the content? Content is not there. Doesn't mean that you just speak whatever you like. This also means that you cannot use some random template and just speak. All this will not work. All this will work only in the donkey movie. Right? But not over here. But yes, what I mean is, let's say you're not very sure about the content. You can little divert it and continue talking about it. Let's say they ask you what kind of sports you like to play. Let's say you don't know what kind of sports that you like to play. You can say, usually I don't indulge much in sports. Rather, I would love to, go gymming. In that way, you can, continue the conversation. So this is what I meant. Yes, content, you need to talk something relevant to the question. It need not be a very great idea. Even a normal idea or a bad idea also would work. Don't give a wrong idea. For whatever the question asked, you got to answer, because it's not a computer sitting. It's a human sitting on the other hand. What I meant by this is, you don't have to give too much priority to the content, give too much of priority to the fluency, so that the words will automatically come out in a flow. Content, it's okay, give some 10-20% of your brain's capacity to think about the content and deliver your speech. Remember this. Let's also talk about the general tips that really do come handy for your exam. The number one being, stay calm and focused. Remember this, anxiety can affect your performance. Take deep breaths and approach each section with a calm mindset. The number two being time management. Keep an eye on the clock, especially during reading and writing sections. Practice pacing yourself to ensure you complete all the tasks. The third one being, follow instructions carefully. Make sure you understand what each question is asking for. Misunderstanding the question can cost you marks. The fourth one being, check your work. If time permits, review your answers, especially in the writing and listening sections, to catch any spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. And the fifth one, the last one, is to rest well before the exam. Ensure you get a good night's sleep before the exam day. Being well rested helps with concentration. I really hope this video was very informative. If you believe the same, like, share and subscribe, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section. Fine guys, with this I'll park the video here. This is Nakul, Nakul. Nakul signing off from Skills IELTS. Soon we'll be back. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thanks much.